and welcome to Business Connections, presented by the Dayton-area Chamber of Commerce. Today we're talking about a program called Pathways, which is the local name for the KeyBank Boost and Build program. It helps micro-enterprise, startup, and scale-up businesses grow and thrive throughout our community, and the Dayton-area Chamber of Commerce plays a big role in this program. So today I want to welcome my guests. I have Donerik Black. He is with the Miami Valley Community Action Partnership.
Yes.
Belinda Stenson. She is my colleague at the Dayton-area Chamber who oversees this program initiative through the Chamber. And then Gloria Ware is with JumpStart, which is the foundation that operates the KeyBank Boost and Build program. Thank you all for being with me today. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.
This is exciting. So this launched a little more than a year ago, right? So I want to start with you, Gloria, to talk about this program. It was made possible by a $24 million grant to JumpStart from the KeyBank Foundation. Yes. It's the largest single grant that foundation has ever made, the largest single philanthropic partnership JumpStart has ever formed.
Correct, yes.
That's big stuff.
Yes.
Can you tell me why JumpStart and KeyBank thought this was such a great initiative that they wanted to invest this kind of money in it?
Well, KeyBank's been a longtime partner of JumpStart. They wrote JumpStart our first check. When we were founded in 2004, JumpStart is a nonprofit economic development organization, and we've had a long track record of working with diverse and ambitious entrepreneurs with a focus on bringing jobs and business growth to the communities that we serve. So initially our focus has been in Northeast Ohio. We are a sister entity to the Entrepreneurship Center in Dayton. And as KeyBank had this opportunity through some growth opportunities and the community benefits agreement, they turned to JumpStart because we've had a solid track record of working together. Through this work, we're able to make investments in communities across the state of Ohio and upstate New York. And I was just really excited to have the opportunity to work in Dayton, is where I started my career in finance and my career in philanthropy.
Full circle.
Yes, full circle. So I was introduced to the team that is running the Pathways program through Stacy Thompson, who's a Dayton resident and VP at KeyBank. And she made the strategic introductions to Belinda, the Wesley Community Center, and the Minority Business Assistance Center because they had all the right connections. They were connected to the business community through the Chamber and the Chamber's great presence in the greater Dayton area, but also the state of Ohio. They were connected to the public sector community from local to state, and they were connected, more importantly, to the West Dayton community and the individuals throughout the region.
It's a big initiative. So overall, it's micro-enterprise, startups, scale-ups. It's helping them thrive in the community, which is a tall order. So Belinda, you kind of oversee a lot of that from the Chamber's perspective. Can you tell me how you're acting as boots on the ground and how Pathways is kind of set up and looking for businesses that might be candidates for this program?
Oh, sure, absolutely. When we started talking about this initiative, it had to be about 3 years ago. There were maybe 20 organizations that focused on workforce development, affordable housing, small business development. And we all sat around the table talking about how do we come up with a strategic plan for the Dayton region. So the Small Business Development Committee, which consisted of the Minority Business Assistance Center, the Miami Valley Community Action Partnership, the Dayton-area Chamber of Commerce, and citywide, we put together a strategy where we would talk about how do we take a business from its startup inception stage to growing them to what we call one of our scalable minority-owned businesses. And as a result of that, we started to talk to a number of financial institutions. And the KeyBank conversation, when they came to Dayton from Cleveland, we had a very, very robust conversation with their leadership team. Shortly thereafter, they told us about the investment KeyBank was making with JumpStart, and that was the beginning of it all. The core members of our team consisted of the Dayton-area Chamber of Commerce, the Minority Business Partnership, the Minority Business Assistance Center, and Wesley Community Center. In working with Gloria, she said, you know, I love what you guys are doing with small business development, but there is a great need in entrepreneurship. How do we really find the workforce that can support and help small businesses grow.
Right.
So after that, we started talking to the Wesley Community Center, and we formed an alliance with them. We started talking to small businesses. What are your needs? What are your challenges? And like all businesses, workforce is always one of those challenges.
Number one, you're right. We know
Absolutely.
Yeah, and it's compounded with the low unemployment rate. There were a number of articles quoted in the Wall Street Journal and in several newspapers last year that mentioned the challenges that small businesses in particular are having competing with talent with the large institutions, the large corporations. So we find that having access to this talent, and in particular diverse talent, will give the businesses the competitive opportunities that they need to be successful in the marketplace and to grow when they have access to the contracts that they have been getting in partnership with the Chamber.
Absolutely. Well, it's no small feat, I think, getting all of those organizations to the table and working together. That's hard to do. So Donerik, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what the Miami Valley Community Action Partnership, what role is that organization playing in all the puzzle pieces I think you need to have in place to help a business succeed?
Okay. Well, the Miami Valley Community Action Partnership, as you know, they have an umbrella approach to helping individuals who are either who are in a certain poverty level. They already had in place a minority business incubator or like a micro enterprise program. So this just kind of added to it. As a consultant, I was looking for a nonprofit partner. They fit the bill perfectly. I had been delivering some programming for them prior to JumpStart, so it was a natural fit for us to have that conversation with CAP about a partnership opportunity so that we could utilize their template to provide that service to individuals who are either looking to start or scale their business.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I guess we should define what kinds of businesses are you looking for this program?
So we are looking for individuals who just have an idea or maybe have just recently started their business, but they've reached a plateau where they need some technical assistance. I believe that a lot of businesses out there, especially in the low to moderate income area, of our community, don't have access to some of the expertise. So what I try to do is really roll up my sleeves and become a part of their business and forensically go in and take a look at every facet of their business, because the truth is there are a lot of good businesses. They just aren't good on paper.
Right.
So we deal with a lot of theory in terms of how to make your business look better on paper. What processes do you have to go through so that when the time comes that you can actually grow and scale your business? The goal is to build a better business, make it more profitable, operate that business in a way that honestly the banks want to see the business operated. As these businesses grow, they're going to need access to capital. So what we really do is we build a comprehensive business plan based on what the banks within our community are going to look for. And then we work in some of the particulars like sales, marketing, how to identify who your client is, how to reach that client, market research development, and all of those things that kind of come together to build a business that is actually making money. And with growth, you're going to need access to capital. So then we take a look at what the bank needs, what do they expect from you, and how do you set your business up so that when you do need money from a bank, you can go in there and with confidence let them know exactly what you need, what you plan on doing with it, and have the processes in place so that you get to yes quicker.
Right. A lot of times you find that entrepreneurs, they have that idea, they may not necessarily be business people.
Right.
So it sounds like that would be valuable to have a team like all of you at the table to help them move forward with
That's exactly right.
practices.
We try to silo everything. I divide it up into 3 tiers. You have the entrepreneur, that individual who has a great idea. Then you have the technician, the person that actually delivers the service. And then the manager, the person that kind of is the glue that holds it all together. So I try to get my participants to figure out where they are and what their needs are so that they can have a well-rounded business that can scale.
Right. Now, are these typically underserved categories? Are we looking at minority owners? Are they from underserved areas? What's the demographic you're looking for?
The really great thing about the KeyBank Business Boost and Build model, it allowed us to step outside of our traditional lane. So we're looking at minority-owned businesses, women-owned businesses, rural businesses, businesses that are in that low to moderate income. Donerik talked about access to capital. When we pitched to the financial institutions, we talked about 3 areas that are critical to any business. Access to capital, which Donerik spoke about, access to consulting or technical assistance, and most importantly, access to contracts or customers. So between our 4 organizations, we were able to piece that puzzle together. So Donerik starts out with the smaller businesses. And when I talked about this concept, it was really selfish from my perspective because I primarily work with those large scalable minority-owned businesses.
Right, through the Minority Business Partnership at the Chamber.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And for 7 years, I have been sitting here saying, Minority Business Assistance Center, MCAP, SBDC, Tech, when are you going to send me businesses to add to my portfolio? And I finally figured out 3 years ago, Belinda, you got to start earlier. You got to swim upstream to start building that pipeline. And that's what KeyBank Business Boost and Build Pathways has allowed us to do. So last year, we worked with 69 businesses.
That's a lot.
90% of those businesses I would have never touched prior to Pathways. Would have never been engaged with those businesses. So when we look at a business, we look at the owner, we look at their service model, and I'm looking at them saying, can our corporate buyers, our committed buying organizations, can they do business with this business, this firm? What things do they need to have in place before I take them to a Sinclair Community College, University of Dayton, Premier, Kettering, Dayton Children's? What do they need to have in place? So working with the MBAC and with Donerik and Wesley, we are able to kind of follow and move that company along that path much faster, at a much more accelerated rate.
That's a good point.
Yeah, and that's why JumpStart, the way that we work in Northeast Ohio is through collaborative partnerships. So the way that we do our work in touching entrepreneurs in Northeast Ohio, outside of the KeyBank Business Boost and Build model, is through collaborative partnerships. Because we recognize that no one organization can be all things to every person or every entrepreneur. So we identify what each organization does best and work together in that way. And that's what I was very excited about discovering in Dayton, that there were these relationships that were kind of informal relationships that the organizations had. And this was an opportunity to strengthen those connections and help to build the capacities of each one of those organizations while building the growth of the Dayton economy.
Right.
And knowing what that criteria is that Belinda has for the Focus 40, it gives me kind of a template.
Right.
Because I'm able to go in and say, okay, here's where you are, here's where you like to get to. Let's put a path together that's realistic so that we can get you from idea to inception and then growth. So it's great having her as a partner, and the goal is to get all those businesses through the system and pass them along so that they can become scalable growth companies in our region.
Right. That's a good point, Belinda. And in case anyone is not aware of what Belinda does through the Minority Business Partnership, they're usually businesses that are a little farther along, that are
Much farther
really
along.
ready to scale up. And through MBP, you're able to connect those businesses, minority-owned businesses, typically, to large buying organizations. So you've got our large buyers like, Premier Health. You've got, I don't know, Dayton Children, some of those really large buyers, and connect them to opportunities to bid, right?
Absolutely.
So that like you said, you're creating your own pipeline to bring them in.
Absolutely.
And we've been able to do that with Pathways. And one of the companies that we used as a model, MBAC and I have been working with this company. They didn't have certification, they didn't have a business plan. He just came and said, you know what, I've been doing this for 40 years of my life. I'm ready to start my own business. And it was a service that we really needed in our portfolio. So between the MBAC and MVP, we really worked this company through those various stages Now that company is a provider for the Dayton Metro Library. They're the janitorial company for all of the branches for the Dayton Metro Library.
And I have to say, they just joined the chamber. They are recent new members of the chamber.
Right.
They were at our new member orientation.
Yes,
and
exciting.
they had shout outs left and right because they already had those connections made.
Right.
Right.
Now they're members of the chamber and they're continuing down that
Yes.
path. So they're a real success story. We're
And I
proud of
mean,
them.
you would have never gotten that were we not integrated in the work that we do. Probably less than a year from the date he came to me and said, I'm ready to start my business, he had his first major contract with the Metro Library.
That's amazing.
It really is.
I love those stories because I run into businesses all the time. And although we are in it every single day and we know the resources, there are a lot of people out there right in this community who have no idea. You know, so it's great to be able to introduce myself. And when I start getting into the nitty gritty of their business, I'm like, oh, I can help you with that and I can help you with this. And they're like, well, how much is it going to cost? Because it sounds expensive.
Right, yes.
And I love saying, I'm going to bill somebody, but I'm not going to bill you. And I love the fact that I'm able to say that. And once they realize that, they're all in. So the program is so valuable. I can't thank KeyBank enough and Business Boost and Build and the whole program. It's good to know that there's a large entity out there dedicated to helping small businesses grow. You know, because I know it wasn't like this 25 years ago when I first started my business.
Right.
You know, so knowing that there's a resource of professionals whose job is to help you scale and grow takes a lot of weight off. And I mean, they call me all the time and I don't mind, you know, because they look at me as a part of their business.
Yeah.
And when I'm consulting with them, I say we a lot, and I'm like, don't take it personal. That's just me kind of buying into what you're saying. They're like, no, that's perfectly fine. No, not at all. But they're like, but they appreciate the fact that I'm all in with them. It just means that there's somebody at the top of the mountain with them, ready to ski down. You know,
and I'm sure it feels good to have, you know, you've got a KeyBank, you've got JumpStart, those big names behind you backing what you're doing. So you have that support in your corner. Gloria, I want to ask you, because Belinda did mention in the inaugural year, which I think is amazing, you helped 69 businesses. So what kind of metrics are we looking at? And, you know, Belinda always says, we're always looking to grow you know, in the next year. So what are you expecting in the second year?
Absolutely. So definitely, so we understand the first year was about the building the collaboration, and the individuals were the organizations working together and building that infrastructure, getting the word out in the community. And the Pathways program, they were well ahead of their goal for the first year, so they did a great job of getting the word out. And again, I think that's because of the nature of the formal collaborations through the Pathways program, but also the relationships that each one of the partners have in the community, that they were able to accelerate that messaging. So as we look into year two, we're looking at, you know, through that technical assistance, were these 69 individuals able to scale because they were able to generate additional revenue through access to contracts. They were able to be more qualified for capital, so they successfully received capital. And now that they're ready to execute on the contracts, are they looking at hiring in the future? So that's why, you know, we're real excited about having the Wesley Community Center as that partner that's working on building that entrepreneurial talent pipeline, so that as these businesses start to grow and scale and need talent, they have a go-to source for that.
That workforce
Yes.
part of it. Both of you have been in the Dayton area working in economic development for quite a long time. So we talked about the metrics, but can you just tell me from your perspectives, how important is it to have this now in the Dayton area? What does this mean for businesses or someone who wants to start a business that falls in these categories?
You want me to go first?
Of course,
Give Belinda a minute to think about it.
No, I honestly, I teach the classes. I see the look on their face. I get to interact with each and every one of them. We're talking about individuals who just have an idea, and they don't know where to go with that idea. You know, I love the fact, and I brag on it all the time, I've never had to tell a person that they have a bad idea. What I am able to do is connect them with enough people and provide them with the skills they need to do the research and realize that their idea sucks on their own. But I say that in jest because we're always working towards something that works. And I tell my clients when we do get to the one-on-ones, I say, if I haven't ticked you off in the first 30 minutes, I'm not doing my job, because it's not about me just cheerleading. I really want to dig deep And I want to challenge everything they say, because at the end, it's about getting a workable, scalable business where they can make money. That's what's most important.
Right.
If you're making money, you're growing. If you're growing, you're adding jobs, you're going after bigger contracts. You're really having a positive effect in your community. And the beautiful thing about it is, there are so many more professionals in this area who want to see these businesses grow. You know, so that's what I'm most excited about. I see the look in their eyes, you know, and sometimes it's a lot to deal with. But I tell them, I always say this, I don't know everything, but I just about know everybody. So if there's something that you need that I can't provide for you, I can pick up the phone and call someone whose goal is exactly what mine is, to help your business become successful and scalable.
It's got to be rewarding.
It is. I really do enjoy it.
Yeah. Do you have your answer ready for me, Belinda?
Yes, absolutely. I'm most excited that it's a community-wide, a regional effort. So it's not just the small businesses that we're pulling along, but it's also those large corporate buy-in organizations. We've worked with them for 7 years now. Premier, Kettering, Dayton Children's, the universities from Miami University, Sinclair, UD in between, and even Central State. But now we have smaller organizations that are building facilities. For instance, the Omega Community Development Corporation, they are building a senior loft building, $15 million. They're also getting ready to break ground on a $10 million Hope Center. Gym City Market, building a grocery store, a market in West Dayton, about a $5 million project. I'm working with those two organizations not only to identify goals and minority and women-owned businesses, but they are both very adamant. We want to make sure that minorities, women, urban individuals have employment opportunities. So we're at the table talking about goals and metrics, things that I've generally done with large buy-in organizations. Now, not-for-profit organizations are saying, this is very important, it's critical to our community, and we want to make sure that we model the work. So that's what drives me.
That was a good answer.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Moving the needle. And so, Gloria, I want to ask you, what's the long-term vision for both JumpStart and KeyBank? That's a loaded question, I know.
Well, no, I think it's pretty simple. JumpStart's mission is to work with diverse and ambitious entrepreneurs to help them economically transform entire communities. And those words were very important in terms of the meaning behind them. So we want to make sure that as Dayton is growing, Dayton continues to grow, that everyone in the community has an opportunity to participate in that growth. And from that inclusive growth, working with diverse individuals, there's a lot of data that proves that organizations that have diverse and inclusive cultures have more innovation. So that we start to see Dayton being recognized as a national leader in doing this work. And of course, we'd always love to see more chamber members. So.
Absolutely.
You know, we have
at the end
yes,
of the
absolutely,
day, right?
yes.
Yeah, well, we, on behalf of the Chamber and all the partners, we're so thankful that JumpStart and KeyBank have chosen our area for this program, and thank you to the both of you for all the work you're putting into this, because I know it's a lot of work, and I know Belinda half the time is on the phone. I don't know if she's talking to me or if she's talking to one of her businesses. It's usually one of her businesses.
Yes.
But I know it's a lot of work, but I know that you both care very much about it, and it's very rewarding.
It's a lot of work, but Gloria has been a tremendous resource. Anytime we reach a roadblock or we have a challenge or we don't know where to go, we call her, and she can connect us, not just within the state of Ohio, but around the country. She's at a lot of conferences, seminars, and she's constantly sharing best practices,
She does
models.
share. I get the articles on finance and lending. I don't always respond, but I always read
Hey,
them.
I'm passionate about this work and
You
passionate
are.
about Dayton, and
You
I'm
are.
serious about really wanting Dayton to be on the map in terms of the go-to
Absolutely.
place
Yeah.
for this type of work.
That's
Absolutely.
fantastic. Is there anything I didn't ask you that you wanted to add about this initiative?
I'm good.
Anything you want to say to someone who might be sitting out there who has a great idea they want to bring to you?
Don't give up.
How do they go about it? If they think they fit within the categories you're looking for, how does a business reach out to you and get involved?
I would say reach out through
Yep.
Belinda and the chamber.
At the chamber.
And your information is posted
Right.
there at our website.
Right, and we kind of triage. Each business is different, and we treat them as a customized business and send them to the right person. They may be sent to CAP, NBAC, the NBAC, SBDC. They may be sent to the county for a grant. It's so many resources in our region, in our community, and I think this effort is pulling all of those resources together, and we're working together as a team. I've not seen this kind of collaboration in our community since I've been at the chamber. So I'm really excited about it.
Great to hear.
Yeah.
Perfect. Well, thank you all three for being with me
Thank you.
today. It was
you.
fun.
Thanks for highlighting this.
If you want to know more about Pathways or to keep up to date with the Chamber, don't forget to go to DaytonChamber.org. That's how you can get a hold of Belinda if you want to. You can also follow us on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and YouTube. You get exclusive content through those social media outlets. But in the meantime, stay tuned for a message from our President and CEO, Phil Parker.
Today's program centered around the continued support of our area's minority business community. The regional initiative Pathways is designed to offer additional help with workforce development and small business growth. Pathways is a partnership of several area organizations, including our region's Chamber of Commerce, and came from the Cleveland-based program JumpStart, which is supported by KeyBank's Business Boost and Build initiative. We looked at the Cleveland model, and with their help and insight, we're able to develop a local collaborative effort for the Dayton community. The Chamber and other organizations are committed to a strategy of business growth and success at all levels of business in all sectors. We continue to see growth in minority, women-owned, veteran-owned, and rural businesses in our area, thanks to the focus of our partners and support from other organizations like JumpStart and our new Pathways initiative.